So, next leg of the journey, and where we are, and apologies for the pronunciation to anyone Polish, Rzeszów Airport, and the weather is absolutely glorious. You can see all around, and I've got my driver Rzeszów, who's hopefully going to take me to the rail station. And as far as I know now, we're about 100 miles from Ukraine, I guess, so getting closer. So we're actually really near Krakow, which I have been to before. It's a wonderful town. I can recommend a visit. Fabulous coffee culture, and famous for one of the biggest salt mines, or the biggest salt mine in Europe, which was well worth a visit. Also, I'm afraid, infamous for Auschwitz and Birkenau, and we brought our boys here probably 10 or 11 years ago, and as distressing and horrific as it was to visit, I think it is good for youngsters to know what happened and to understand some of the history. So, you know, if you want to come to Poland, I would suggest Krakow. It's a great place for a long weekend, and we're just in the car now, off to the border. Right, so I'm at the rail station. I'm going to try and pronounce this just once because it's going to be terrible. Rzeszów. I'm told it's very difficult to pronounce, so perhaps when the Poles come over to Wales they get the same problem, I don't know. But I've been reading a little of the history of this town, and it's just phenomenal. In just the recent past, in the first month of the war, 500,000 Ukrainian refugees came through this one train station. And reading a bit, like I say, of the history, the wars and the tragedies that this area has seen for hundreds of years is just unbelievable. We really don't know how lucky we are in Wales. You know, Swansea, Cardiff, we've got great history and we've seen good times and bad times, but what this area has seen, you know, is just remarkable. Even as back, you know, well before World War II, but during World War II, this was the border between the Nazis and Soviets in the early years of the war, and then of course it was overrun initially by the Nazis and then later on by the Soviets. So it is quite sobering. But this station has become very famous recently as well, because a lot of the world leaders who have gone to Ukraine, including President Biden, have actually gone from this station. Of course, there's no commercial flights into Ukraine now, so by train or bus or by car is the only way to do it. I'm really looking forward to this journey. It's a number of firsts for me. I've only ever been on a train in the UK, a couple of times in France before, usually Swansea, Paddington, 3.5 hours. I've never been on a journey for 13 hours on a train, never in Eastern Europe, and I've never been on a sleeper car before. So I'm told I'll be in a sleeper car with four berths altogether. Knowing my luck, I'll have some big burly East European powerlifters as company, but either way I'm looking forward to it. There is something very romantic, I think, about taking a long train journey. And looking at the trains, they look fairly modern to me. I'm just hoping that I'll get some sleep anyway. So I'm well into my journey now, 30 odd hours, and apart from a couple of hours waiting around the town here, I'll be on my way to Ukraine fairly shortly.